Hello family, what's up and welcome back to my channel. My name is Felicia Mufa and in today's video, we are currently reading an interesting story called Divorce Prescription. So if you are new to this channel, thank you for clicking this video and trust me when I say this, you will not regret clicking this video because you are going to love the story. This is a story about Adam Alvarez and Celine Tate, and I believe you're going to resonate with the story one way or the other. And if you are new, if you are an old subscriber, thank you so much for always coming back. I really do appreciate you guys. So I don't take you guys for granted. I really do appreciate you guys so much, and I thank you so much for always coming back. But if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, what are you waiting for? Subscribe now. It doesn't take a penny to subscribe to the channel. It really helps the channel a lot. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, do subscribe and please leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts, your whatever you want to say about the story. Just leave it down in the comment section. I will really be so glad to see it. And please like the video and share with your friends and your loved ones. We are not going to waste much time. We are just going to dive into the video. So we ended the other video, we ended at chapter 87. So we're going to continue from chapter 88. Chapter 88. Larry Slake was thrown into prison 10 years ago for child molestation, abuse, and attempted rape, Leo reported. The fountain pen in Adam's hand paused abruptly. Adam looked up at Leo, shocked. It was Celine. Leo nodded. Yes, Mr. Alvarez. Mrs. Alvarez's adoptive father is perverted scumbag and a bastard. Adam's handsome face immediately hardened icily. He had already suspected that there was an untold story between Celine and Larry, but he had not expected the story to be such as that. Suddenly, Adam's phone rang with a melodious tune. Adam answered the call and Ruby's panicked voice flooded his ear. Help, Mr. Alvarez, Celine is in trouble. Adam gripped his phone tightly and asked, what happened to her? Celine went to the pub to give her bastard adoptive father a check. I followed her because I was worried, but when I got into the room, Celine was already missing. She was mistaken by her bastard adoptive father. What? Adam walked out of his study hastily and pushed the bedroom door open. The bedroom was empty. She wasn't there. She was still there when he left just now. She had actually gone for Larry alone. Why is she meeting Larry with a check? Larry has Celine's photo in his hand. What photo? Could it be the picture that Larry sent over today? Adam saw a box on the bedside table. He opened the box and found a photo lying quietly beside the box. He took the photo out to take a closer look. After one glance, his fingers immediately tightened around the photo as he exploded with murderous rage. That's scumbag. Why didn't she tell him? Do Adam expect Celine to open up to him, to be vulnerable with him, upon all the way that he treats her? He still expects the country pumpkin to open up to him. He expects her to be vulnerable with him. Is that what he expects? Like, seriously. Why didn't she tell him? She clearly could have told him about it. Out of nowhere, Adam felt that the younger Celine in the picture looked a little familiar, like he had seen her somewhere before. Who cares, Mr. Alvarez? Adam's people suddenly constricted as he realized that he had seen her before. The girl who rescued him in the cave all those years ago looked like that. But Callie was clearly the girl who had saved him. Could Celine, not Callie, be the one who had saved him all those years ago? Had he mistaken the identity of his savior all this while? Adam's mind was a mess. All those years ago, he was severely injured with his life hanging by a thread, so he wasn't there to see that young girl's face clearly. When he was more conscious the next morning, that young girl had already left. Was Celine the girl that had saved him all those years ago? Was she that young girl? Are you listening to me, Mr. Alvarez? Mr. Alvarez, Ruben's anxious voice called out to Adam repeatedly. Adam snapped back to his senses and heard Ruben panicking. You gotta send men to look for Celine. Mr. Alvarez, Celine had fallen victim to her bastard adoptive father again. You have to find her this time and bring her back. Yes, finding Celine was most important right now. If he had found Celine, he would be able to know if she was that young girl from those years ago. Who cares, Mr. Alvarez, if she was that young girl or not? Nobody cares, Mr. Alvarez. If you cannot remember, who cares? Nobody. If she was her, it would mean that he had gotten the wrong person and had abandoned the young girl to suffer in the hands of that bastard alone. He would not be able to forgive himself for the rest of his life. Well, welcome, Mr. Alvarez, because you are not going to forgive yourself. She must have been so afraid then. He promised to take her away with him. He told her that he wanted her. Adam stared intensely at Leo with bloodshot eyes, and coldly. He shot coldly. Get the surveillance footage, find Larry's car, and close all of the roads in Mercy. I want him to be completely trapped. This part alone there is good. So let's go to chapter 8-9. Larry sped through the highway, driving a white van. As he looked in the rearview mirror, he saw Celine lying there, still unconscious. He looked perversely at Celine's shapely figure and thought that if he could have his way with Celine right away, he most definitely would. This man is cursed. However, to be safe, he had to take Celine away from there. When they had gone to a place where no one knew them, she wouldn't be able to run away anymore. He would have all the time in the world to do whatever he wanted to do, however he desired to. The mere thought of that got Larry all fired up. Suddenly, the cars ahead of him stopped moving and Larry quickly stepped on the brakes. Guys, please, this reminds me of, God forgive me, back in high school, there's this evil friend of mine. And I've lost contact with her because ever since she was a friend of mine, and when I started growing up and maturing, I realized that she's not a good example, a good friend. Because every money you have, she'll ask you, let's go out and spend it. We will spend all the money on meats and drink. If you get money in your hand right now, she'll make sure that you spend the whole money that day. So back in high school, I was just innocent little girl who doesn't know anything. She told me that there's an old man who is interested in me. The man came to the school. Guys, you see, she told me that I should take the man's money. Guys, and then the man brought me provisions. He gave me money. And then after I got the money, she told me that the man wants me to come and visit him in his house. So one day on vacation, she was a day student, I was a brother. I went with her to the man's house. Went there. This demonic girl wanted to leave me there. I saw everything. I know. I saw all the plan. I saw everything they have planned. So I realized that her moves and the way they were talking, I knew something was up. And I told her that I'm going out to urinate. So when I went out, I called her that I know whatever you people are planning. You better come out for us to leave before it's too late for you. Guys, before she knew, I've already taken car back to. I was on vacation going home, so I went back home. When I go home, she called me, hey Felicia, is that how you are? You just went to visit the man. The way this man is rich, he's going to. I said, thank you very much. I'm not doing this. That man too, he had only one eye. Trust me. He wanted me to end up like that. God forgive me for that. Please, if you have one eye, please forgive me. I'm not insulting you, please. The mere thought of that got Larry all fired up. Suddenly, the cars ahead of him stopped moving and Larry quickly stopped on the brakes. What was going on? It was congested with traffic. The drivers of cars around Larry poked their heads out and someone asked, what's happening? Is there a car accident up ahead? It's not an accident. Someone had closed off the road ahead and is checking the cars one by one. Another answered. The roads were closed off. Larry's face fell as a sense of foreboding flooded his heart. Who would have such a power to seal off the entire Mercy? He said, a driver asked. I heard that it could be the richest man in Mercy, Mr. Adam Alvarez, CEO of Alvarez Group. Mercy is his staff. He could have his way easily here. Another answered, could Mr. Alvarez be sealing off all the roads because he's looking for his runaway bride? They've read too many novels. As the car drivers chatted, Larry's heart sank. It was over. Adam had come to look for Celine. Fuck Lucy for telling him that Adam didn't like Celine at all. She told him that Celine was just an unwanted abandoned woman. Why would Adam cause such a commotion for an abandoned woman? This reminds me of a story I read. I think, is it the abandoned bride or the abandoned wife or something like that? I really love the story. I couldn't finish the story. I think I read to chapter 87 or so. It was such an interesting story. I've forgotten the app that I read the story from. There was a bunch of uniformed individuals in front checking the cars one by one. Larry's heart was about to leap out of his throat. He couldn't do it. He couldn't be caught like a certain duck waiting for his impending doom. He would be found out very soon if he kept it up like this. Larry opened the van's door immediately, grabbed Celine and abandoned his van quickly as he escaped. Celine felt a grimy, disgusting hand. Celine felt a grimy, disgusting hand caressing her face. Her eyelashes fluttered as she slowly opened her eyes. She was in dim cave, lying on a bunch of weeds. Larry was beside her, caressing her face perversely. How disgusting. You are awake, Miss. You are awake, Celine. Celine felt her nape throbbing with pain. The hand on her face felt like a poisonous scorpion wandering freely on her face. It was nauseating. Fuck off. Don't touch me with your disgusting hands. Celine backed coldly. Larry wasn't angry at all. Celine, you were already so unbelievably pretty when you first came to our village. Can you imagine that? At that time, I was thinking of the amount of men who would want you when you grow up. So why should I let those men have their way? I could have you. You could be my wife. Why were you disobedient? Why must you blind me in one eye? Why would you throw me in jail for 10 years? They should have given him life sentence. Look now, nothing has changed. You are still going to lie beneath me so I could have my way with you. Larry's desire was at its peak. He was holding it in previously because he wanted to wait for Celine to wake up. He wanted to torment her to take revenge for her blinding him in one eye. He reached over and started tearing Celine's clothes apart. Celine struggled as she screamed, "Let me go, don't touch me." Celine struggled as she screamed, "Let me go, don't touch me." Larry panted heavily. "Who are you expecting to come to your rescue, Celine?" "Adam, your husband." He thought about how pitiful he looked as he was forced to escape previously and malice gleamed in his eyes. It would be too late. By the time he arrived, I would have had my way with you. You would just be broken second-hand goods. Did you think he would still want you then? Chapter 90. Larry exerted more force and tore Celine's clothes apart from the collar down, exposing the fair, delicate skin hidden underneath. Celine was zapped back to a memory from years ago. It was also in a cave like this. Larry had trapped her beneath him as well. His disgusting scent overwhelmed her as helplessly and fear drawn her like a tidal wave. She was about to die. The little Celine all those years ago was about to die. She missed her say. Why didn't he come back? Celine felt a looming weight on her. Larry had found his way onto her. She closed her eyes. She felt a pang of sorrow as she realized that when she was trapped in a similar situation, she still thought of Adam. It seemed like she had grown up after all these years, but it didn't seem that way as well. She was still hoping that Adam would come, but she knew clearly that he would never appear. Celine reached for her waist. Suddenly, she felt the weight on her disappear as she saw a leg collide with Larry. This is an action movie. Action movie. Chuck Norris. The late Chuck Norris could have played this role, but unfortunately we lost him. Larry, who was still on Celine, flew backward from being kicked by someone who had exploded with venom and rage. Adam doesn't want anyone to touch his woman. Mr. Arrogant Alvarez. I think every man is afraid of this. To let someone else touch their woman. That's why when men cheat, women can forgive, but men, they will never, ever forgive. So if you men cheat, why don't we also cheat? Huh? Men, when you watch telenovela, the couples will separate, and then the man will go to some psycho woman, and he will be sleeping with the woman, and the love of his life will be somewhere waiting for him. Even if she go and be with someone, she will not sleep with the person. Like, hello, you people have make us, like, are we the only people who are supposed to be loyal? You men should also be loyal. So let's go. He landed heavily against the side of the cave and blood spewed from his mouth. Celine was shocked. She lifted her head to see a regally handsome face materializing before her eyes. So it turns out that Adam is the most handsome man in the world. It was Adam. He had actually appeared. Celine was caught in a daze to see someone who was just in her thoughts appear before her eyes physically. Like, this is a dream. Adam wore a black trench coat. This time he didn't wear his tailored trousers. His face was dripping with iciness, and his broad shoulders were coated with frost and dust from rushing all the way. His presence was like the Grim Reaper who had risen from the depths of hell, terrifying and ominous. What was he doing here? Adam looked down at Celine to see her doleful eyes red-rimmed. She appeared very pitiful. She looked at him with a blank look on her face, almost like she had never expected him to come and rescue her. Why would she expect Mr. Arrogant to come there? His heart ached. He took off his coat and dropped it on her feeble shoulders as he consoled with a low voice. You are all right now. Celine only felt the reality of things when the coat that still had Adam's lingering body hit her cold, exposed skin. He really did come. He really did come to save her. Larry had blood all over his face. Adam had come for him. He knew it was over for him. Let me explain, Mr. Alvarez. It's Celine. She seduced me. Hello? Celine seduced a man with one eye. Mr. Alvarez, it's Celine. She seduced me. Don't let her fool you. Mr. Alvarez, she already knows how to seduce men at a very young age. She isn't a good match for you. And who is this stinking man to say that, to make that decision for Adam? Larry started slandering Celine right away. Celine glanced at Adam only to see him marching forward and kick Larry in the chest once more. Larry lay splayed on the ground and spat out another mouthful of blood. Adam glared venomously at him like he was looking at a dirty dead animal and spat. Of course, it's a dirty dead animal. This time around, I agree with Mr. Arrogant. Who the fuck do you think you are? How dare you lay hands on my wife? Mr. Alvarez, I won't do it again. Please have mercy on me. Larry started trembling as he pleaded to be pardoned. Adam looked down coldly at him, lifted his leg once more and stomped down hard between Larry's legs. Since you like breaking the law so much, I will destroy your weapon of choice. Larry's shrieks of agony reverberated in the cave as a puddle of blood flowed out and poured around him. With that, Larry was now castrated. At this time, Leo had arrived hurriedly with a bunch of bodyguards dressed in black. Mr. Alvarez, he greeted. So, Larry doesn't have one eye. Now, the weapon that he used to do those silly things too. Now he has lost it. That's good. Adam, I like that. Today I like Mr. Arrogant. At this time, Leo had arrived hurriedly with a bunch of bodyguards dressed in black. Mr. Alvarez, he greeted. Adam unfurled his lips apathetically and said, take him. Yes, Mr. Alvarez. Adam returned to Celine's side and carried her off her feet. This story looks more like a telenovela, whether by Telemundo or Televisa. I like her. Or maybe Paula Nunes. Guys, I like Paula Nunes. I think back in 2018 or 2019, I was watching the series on Metro TV called Until My Last Breath. Until My Last Breath. I think that's the first telenovela, Paula Nunes telenovela that I watched. And then her second telenovela, I've forgotten the title. And the third one was Reina de Corazon, which is actually my favorite. My favorite. I like Second Chance too. I think Second Chance is such. The most painful part was when Lorena Rojas also died after the series, but she was so beautiful. I wanted to see her more in telenovelas, but she died too early. Guys, come to think of it, where is this man, Mario Simaro? Guys, I've not watched his series for the longest time. So we are going to chapter 91. Adam carried Celine into his Rolls Royce Phantom and placed her onto the passenger seat. Then he made his way to the driver's seat. His slender fingers held the steering wheel as he floored the accelerator. The car sped swiftly on the road. Celine's lithe frame was wrapped snugly in Adam's coat, which enveloped her with his clean, refreshing scent and body heat. Her button nose was red on the side as a strange stirring arose in her heart. She really didn't think that he would come. He didn't come all those years ago, but he came this time. Celine turned to Adam's chiseled face and said, "Thank you, Mr. Alvarez." Adam's slender fingers stuck onto the steering wheel as he pursed his lips. "Why didn't you tell me?" Celine shouted, I asked you so many times. Why didn't you tell me? I would have come a little later today. Do you know what could happen? Adam's tone was cold and harsh. Celine could feel his anger, and her red rimmed eyes were filled with tears. "Why are you yelling at me, Mr. Alvarez? She just went through this trauma and you are yelling at her. Be gentle." Anna was speechless. He turned and saw her trying to hold her tears back. She was about to cry since she felt wrong. How could she even feel that way? When he found her, that scumbag was already on top of her. Her clothes were torn to shreds. If he were to show up a little later, the worst could have happened. Can this man with one eye, can you have taken advantage of her? But who was Celine to tell Mr. Arrogant? He's always demeaning her. He's always insulting her. He's always looking down on her. So who is she to tell her, to tell him? That is lifeless. However, when Adam saw how aggrieved she looked, he couldn't even properly express his anger anymore. He was afraid that she would burst into tears. She was really made of water. She was just as fragile as the dew. Adam turned up the air conditioner and adjusted the temperature. Are you still cold? Celine shook her head. No. Celine. Adam called out to her abruptly. Celine looked over at Adam and asked, what is it? I have something to ask you. When you were younger, have you ever been to... Adam couldn't wait to know if Celine was the young girl from years ago. However, it suddenly started raining cars and dogs. Big bursts of rain pattered noisily against the car. But Mr. Alvarez, are you this dumb? Like, hello? It's the same cave that she was raped. You went there. You still couldn't see that it's her. Like you saw her picture too, her childhood picture. So what do you want? Do you want a prophet to come and tell you that, yes, it's her? Guys, I'm so angry with Mr. Alvarez. Seriously. So angry. In Adam's car, a weather broadcast was heard saying there will be a category 4 tornado that will hit Mexico City tonight, accompanied by thunderstorms and heavy rain. The public are asked to refrain from going out. A tornado was coming. They were on the highway at that time, and it would take 2 hours to get home. It was already pouring heavily out there. It would be dangerous for them to continue their journey. Adam turned the steering wheel, turned the car around and stopped at a nearby B&B. We have to stay here for a night for safety's sake. We will head back tomorrow. And Adam is he's a snake under glass, that man. Okay, Celine nodded. She had no objections to that. The B&B they stayed at was in a more humble condition and was incomparable to staid hotels. But at least it was relatively clean. When Lila Rogers, the owner of the B&B, saw the lanky and dashing Adam, guys, what is this about this Adam? Her eyes gleamed as she ushered him in. Do you need a room, handsome? Are you here alone? Celine was a little speechless. No matter where Adam went, he would surely be able to attract the attention of the opposite sex. He looked so handsome, dressed in a, of course, smart-looking button-down shirt with slacks as he emitted a powerful big boss air. It was no wonder Lila would be knocked off her socks just by seeing Adam. Adam was stoic. He was clearly used to this. I will get a room for my wife and me. So now he addressed Celine as his wife. I see. Okay. Celine, who was mentioned, quickly stepped up to make an appearance. She was hidden behind Adam's lanky frame previously, and that was why Lila couldn't see her. She gave Lila a bashful smile. Lila was initially a little disappointed upon hearing that Adam was married, but when she saw how beautiful and dainty Celine was and how sweet her smile was, her mood was lifted. What a good-looking couple, she thought. Lila passed Adam a room key card and said, You are roomed in room 503. Sorry. You are room in room 503, handsome. The items on the bedside cabinet are chargeable with the prices are already stated there. Adam nodded and brought Celine to the room. Celine was a little confused. What did she mean by the items on are chargeable? Celine turned. If he had decided he no longer wanted to ask her, fine by her. Celine turned on her phone, which was previously turned off, and immediately saw a few dozen missed calls from Ruben. One filled her heart. She texted Ruben on WhatsApp and told her that she was safe. Ruben replied almost immediately, You are finally online, Celine. Do you have any idea how anxious I am? All right, Ruben, Mr. Alvarez and I are stuck in a tiny B&B because of the crazy thunderstorm. Suddenly, Celine realized that there were items displayed on the bedside cabinet with individual prices on them. Her delicate face burned bright red. Those were those were condoms, right? Oh heavens! She suddenly remembered that some big hotels would have all these amenities prepared as well. She didn't expect this B&B to have it too, but they were chargeable instead. She felt so stupid to have asked Adam just now about that. He clearly knew what it was, but he didn't tell her. Maybe he thought Celine was just asking deliberately when she already knew the answer. Celine was instantly restless. Then she realized that other than condoms, there was also one other thing. It was a black knitting of some sort. Celine didn't know what it was for. Ruby saw it in the picture and responded immediately. Celine, look at how shattered you are. That's fishnet stockings. Fishnet stockings? Ruby sent a snicker. Does Mr. Alvarez like fishnet stockings? Celine. Celine was flabbergasted. How could she know that? Ruby sent Celine a voice note right away. When Celine clicked on it, Ruby's excited voice filled the air. Wear the fishnet stockings for Mr. Alvarez tonight. Celine said, you see. Celine was so focused on listening to Ruby's voice note, only to realize that the bathroom door had been open since God knows when. She lifted her head and saw Adam staring straight at her. Chapter 3. Adam had been out. Adam had been out of the shower since long time ago. He heard everything Robin had said in that voice note. Celine was at loss for words. Her mind went blank instantly as she got up. She shot up instantly to her feet. No, Mr. Alvarez, I can explain. She was so frantic that her phone slipped out of her hand and landed on the bed. Ruby's voice rang. Mr. Alvarez has such great physique. A six-pack up is practically a guarantee. I also see that Mr. Alvarez has long, slender fingers. I heard men with slender fingers are good in bed. Come on, Celine, bag him tonight. Celine, who was still attempting to explain herself, swallowed her words. She should have just evaporated. Sorry. Goodness. She had Ruben. She and Ruben were just having a proper normal conversation, but please let me go drink water. But the more Ruben talked, the more raunchy the things she would continue to say. The atmosphere between Celine and Adam was so awkward it couldn't have gotten any worse. Celine glanced at Adam, who was leaning on the bathroom door, and chuckled dryly. You heard her. It's all Ruben, not me. She had chosen to throw Ruben under the bus this time. Adam still had a clean sense from being freshly out of the shower on him. His face was stoic as he said, go shower, okay. Celine sprinted into the bathroom and shut the door immediately. 3 seconds later, Adam, who was outside the door, could hear Celine's flustered scream. Ah, she was about to go crazy. Adam's lips slowly curled into a smile. Celine took her own sweet time before coming out of the shower. She had never been so embarrassed before in her entire life. When she finally came out, Adam was already in bed. His back was leaning lazily onto the head of the bed as he worked on documents on his phone. There was only one bed. If he slept there, where could she sleep? There were no couches in the room, and sleeping on the floor was completely out of the question. Adam looked up and glanced at her. What are you still standing there for? Come and sleep on the bed. He was asking her to sleep on the bed. It would mean that they were both going to be sleeping on the same bed tonight. It wasn't like this had not been done before, so Celine did not overthink it. She opened the blanket and lay down. Then she closed her eyes so she could go to sleep. Soon after, she heard Adam put his phone down and lay down as well. It was a stormy night with thunder and lightning gallop. The night lamp glowed with a gentle hue, making the room very cozy. Celine's stiffened body started to relax, drifting her off to sleep. Suddenly, there was noises coming from the next room. The sound insulation of this B&B was practically non-existent. Celine couldn't help but prick her ears up to listen. She didn't know what the people in the next room were doing. All of a sudden, she heard a woman's moan loudly. Celine might have delayed registering what was happening due to her inexperience, but that didn't mean she was completely oblivious. Her face burned bright red once more, making her look extremely delectable. What the heck was going on today for her and Adam to be listening to another couple do its life? Celine sneaked a peek at the human beside her. Adam was just lying quietly on the bed, but his eyes weren't closed. Okay, she tried to break the ice. People next door are pretty noisy, huh? Adam looked at her bright red face and responded sarcastically. I thought you were going to ask me what the people next door are doing. Celine was speechless. Adam thought she had done it on purpose. Chapter 94. Celine knew it. She knew Adam would think that she had asked about the chargeable items on purpose. Celine grabbed a blanket with both her hands and subtly buried her head inside of it. She was embarrassed. Adam smiled. He was amused by how adorable Celine was. The sounds from next door still continued, and it had become more and more unrestrained. How was he supposed to sleep now? Adam lifted his hand and knocked on the wall with a few sharp raps. The sounds from next door softened significantly in that instant. He closed his eyes, but he no longer had the desire to sleep. He was a young man with vigor. In situations like this, his fire within had already been ignited. With the alluring, captivating Celine sleeping by his side, his mind had drifted back to that fateful night in the master bedroom of Westwood Villa, where he had pinned her against the wall. The sound from next door started once more. Adam's eyes shut open with much annoyance. He sat up, flung open the blankets, and got out of bed. Just then, a delicate hand reached out and head onto his sleeve. Adam turned around to see Celine pop her head out of the blanket. Her face was slightly flushed from being under the blanket for a while. Her eyes were twinkling and teasing others to take a bite. Celine tugged on him and asked timidly, "Where are you going?" She knew he had gotten angry. He looked like he was about to head next door to pick a fight. It was her first time seeing him throw hands at the cave today. She didn't think that a refined person like him would be so merciless when he fought. She didn't like it when he fought. His mood had been a wreck the whole day. Had she wasted his time? Celine had thought it through. He would rush over to save her because she was still Mrs. Alvarez by name. He wouldn't leave her like that since he was a good man. Adam looked at how Celine was lying down on the bed and suddenly felt extremely parched. A fire was burning inside of him. He retracted his sleeve quite quickly and said, "Go ahead and sleep." Then he walked out. Adam knocked on the door next door. A man's voice was quickly heard from the inside. "Who is it? I'm coming." The door opened and Ryan League walked out. Adam's face was stormy. "I'm staying next door. Just look at the time. Will you? Even if you two weren't resting, other people need to rest too." Ryan pulled Adam aside and pulled out a pack of cigarettes. He started passing him a cigarette as he said, "Sorry for disturbing you, dude. My wife and I just got married and we just couldn't help ourselves just now." "Who are you calling dude?" Adam thought unhappily. He didn't take any cigarettes. Ryan asked curiously, You are here alone?" Suddenly, a soft voice rang from behind them. Adam. Ryan turned and saw that the door of room 503 was slightly ajar, revealing half of Celine's exquisite face. Celine's dewy eyes glistened as she called out to Adam. Adam inhaled sharply. What a beauty. She was so beautiful. She looked like an angel. Adam watched Celine poke her head out, and his brow furrowed. "Who said you could come? Who said you could come out? Get back in there." He was fuming. Celine shut the door immediately. Ryan wanted another peek at Celine, but Adam glared icily at him. Ryan smiled sheepishly and added, "Dude, you have a beauty right there with you, and you are here knocking on my door." Then Ryan gave Adam a once over. Say you are not facing any troubles raising your flag, are you?" It seems like everybody thinks Adam is impotent or something. Adam was speechless. Just as he was about to explode, Celine's feeble yet melodious voice summoned him once more. "Come back quick, Adam." Chapter 95. We are going to end at chapter 95. Please, so this is the last chapter. Celine kept calling out to Adam. Her melodious voice had attracted Ryan to turn his head back a few times, just a few peek. Adam could only return to the room. A storm was brewing on his face. Celine was already in bed. Adam looked unhappily at her and snapped, "What did you think you were doing, summoning me like that? Are you a parrot?" Celine was speechless. She was just being kind. "I'll go get a cold shower." Adam turned and headed into the bathroom. He's really good at getting cold shower. He came out a few minutes later, opened the blankets and lay on the bed again. The both of them lay quietly in bed. There were still sounds coming from the next door. Ryan and his wife could be heard giggling as they teased each other. Even though they had lowered their voices, Adam and Celine could still hear them clearly. Adam wanted to take another cold shower. He was about to fling his blanket open once more when Celine moved. She was initially very far from him, sleeping near the edge of the bed, but she had suddenly moved in closer. Her soft, supple body pressed into him directly. Adam caught a whiff of her and teasing scent and paused. They were both mature adults. For her to try to take the initiative to meld herself into him in such an environment so thick with sexual tension, what she wanted to do was very clear. Adam lowered his head, looked at her and asked, "What are you doing?" Adam lowered, sorry, Celine looked at him with shiny eyes and replied, "What do you think I'm doing?" Celine, she's that bold, right? His Adam's apple babbled. Suddenly, he heard something vibrating. Someone was calling him on the phone. Speaking of the devil, it's Scully. He took out his phone to see that Scully was calling. He answered the phone and heard Carly's fully bratty voice say, "Why didn't you reply my WhatsApp messages, Adam?" He had forgotten to reply to Carly after she had sent him her childhood photo. "I'm busy." Adam's suave voice was abruptly cut short because Celine had snagged herself onto his arms. She was lying in his arms. Her head was lifted up and she was kissing his Adam's apple. Adam's body tensed up. He instantly saw red. He locked his hand onto Celine's shoulder, gesturing for her to stop kissing him. Celine had definitely done it on purpose, kissing him when he was on the phone with Carly. She did it intentionally. She sensed every time she was with Adam, he would be summoned away by Carly's phone call. She wanted to test his resilience this time. Celine's ruby red lips wandered around on his Adam's apple. Adam had a prominent Adam's apple, which had a defined shape and a high arc. It was as attractive as his handsome face. The room was very quiet. Carly's voice rang once more. "Why are you always so busy, Adam? What are you doing right now? Are you alone?" Carly was asking if he was alone right now. Celine opened her mouth and gave his throat a nibble. Adam couldn't continue being on a call with Carly in situations like this. He hung up on Carly right away and pulled Celine away by her shoulders. His husky, quiet voice warned, "Stop biting." The last time she bit his throat, it left a teeth mark that took a few days to disappear. He had a lot of meetings to attend daily, and he had to button his shirt all the way up just to cover it up. He was biting him again right now. Celine, Celine really liked biting him. She liked leaving her mark on his body. She liked seeing him being overcome with desire. She tilted her head up and started kissing his jawline, working up to his face. The hand Adam had on Celine's shoulder tightened instantly. He didn't know whether he should hold her closer or push her away at that time. His eyes fluttered a few times as he tried and failed to push her away. He could only allow her to roam his body freely with kisses in resignation. His phone vibrated once more. Since he had hung up on Carly, she was calling back. Adam reached out for his phone only to feel a tender softness on his lips. Celine was kissing him. Celine had captured his lips with hers. Adam's eyes were bloodshot. He pushed her away that instant and backed. Celine. Celine lifted her face and looked at him. Download the webfake app and just pay a little amount and read. So I'll see you guys again in another video. Well, until then,